to these are items of concern. Then I have to ask myself, well, what's a threshold where it would be appropriate to intervene? What's a threshold where you could reasonably say that management is responsible for something systemic? That's what I think we're trying to work out. So to answer the question of who determines, well, the legislature ultimately determines. This committee will determine what goes back before us. We'll vote on it. We'll decide if it's palatable, and that's what we move forward with the policy in Tennessee. But from the complete other side of the state, these 6 things I fundamentally agree with are problems. I don't know of any educator that would want this in their system at all, want these outcomes. Or they wouldn't want audit failures. They wouldn't want instability in leadership. They wouldn't want chronic absenteeism. So I'm comfortable knowing that even though this probably touches Memphis and Shelby right now, should it touch a system in my district in East Tennessee, that we would have some sort of resolution to interfere with that systemic failure. So I think to kind of come back to the purpose of what's before us, I get that there's history and I get that there's some feelings that Memphis Shelby's been picked on a little bit here, but what's before this committee right now is, have we come up with a compromise that we can take back to both bodies that says this is how we're going to behave in the state of Tennessee when something like this comes up? Sure, Memphis Shelby may have been the bellwether for us to be concerned. And it was evidently concerning enough to where legislation was brought to say we need something better in place. So I hope we can kind of move forward with that as we bring this to a vote in this committee.
All right, thank you, Senator Lowe. Representative Sapiki.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I wholeheartedly agree with my colleague's statement. I think the thing we're missing here, and first of all, this applies to any district, and if you're a member of the General Assembly and your district falls under these criteria, you need to be having a serious conversation with your county commissions and your own LEA about what are you doing. I think the thing that's kind of absurd is we're okay with 50% of our kids not on grade level. It's in the language. We're not going to look at you unless more than 50% of your kids are not on grade level. What are we doing? Our own accountability measures with the State Board of Education is based off of 70% on grade level. We're okay with 25 or less % of your schools being priority schools? Think about that. 25% or less of your schools, if you have less than that, you don't even qualify as a DRF. I appreciate the language of trying to set a bar. If we're ever going to get to great in Tennessee, we have to have a very high bar. This is the first step to look at. This is encompassing districts, whoever they are across the state of Tennessee, that you're not doing what's right for your kids. And I think at the state level, when it reaches this criteria, we have an obligation to step in to correct something and get it on the right path. Hopefully, it's 4 years, it goes back to the district, and we never have to have this conversation again with that district ever again. But this bill applies to everybody. And everybody in the state of Tennessee should be looking at this going, we have to up our game. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you, Representative Sapiki. If I'm going to call on Chairman Mark White for a motion, and we'll have discussion of any potential amendments.
Thank you, Chairman. At this point in time, I'd like to make a motion on the conference committee report before us, a motion to the committee to adopt.
All right, there's a motion to adopt the conference report. It's been properly moved and seconded, so we have the conference report before us. I did have a question, and we may, if I could go out of session for Ms. Washburn, if I could go out of session. Ms. Washburn, I had a couple of clarifications I want to make sure were in the conference report, and if they weren't, if we could add those. One was to specify that the Oversight Board can contract for the assessment and the turnaround plan. As you recall in there, it says that the board has to do a needs assessment, annual needs assessment, and a transformation plan. Do we need to specify that that function could be contracted out instead of them doing it themselves?
Yes, Senator Taylor, I believe so. It currently makes that the obligation of the oversight board. So if there's an intent for that to be the oversight board to select an outside entity to perform those functions on behalf of the board, that would need to be addressed in the legislation.
If I could, I would move that we include that in the conference report, just to provide clarity on that. And is there a second? Second. All right, been properly moved and second. Well, we're out of session, so we'll have to come back in session to do that. Okay. Yeah, Parkinson, Representative Parkinson was telling me that. Let me ask the other two, and then we'll go back in session. The oversight board. I think there needs to be clarity that oversight board can create policies and timeline requirements for the submission of contracts to them from the local board. I know in the conference report it states that the oversight board would be able to provide policies and procedures and timeline for submitting the annual budget. And I think it's important that they have the authority to also set those same type of parameters in terms of a contract. And so I'll be making a motion on that when we go back in session, unless it's already covered, Ms. Washburn. And then the last is, I think we should provide clarity on the appointment of the chair of the oversight board. Does that need clarity, you think, Ms. Washburn?
Senator Taylor, there's no language in the proposed conference report that addresses the appointment or selection of a chair.
All right. If we could, we'll go back in session. Then what I would move is that an amendment that would include all three of these things. One, to specify the oversight board can contract for the needs assessment and the turnaround plan, that the oversight board would also be able to create policies and timeline requirements for the submission of contracts, very similar to that of the budget. And then last, that we could provide language for the appointment of a chair of the oversight board. I would make that in way of a motion. Is there a second? Second. It's been properly moved and seconded. If we could, any discussion on that?
I do have a parliamentary question.
All right, parliamentary question.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We did a lot just in. Chairman White had a motion on the floor that was seconded, and then we kind of went out of session and kind of didn't. And you're right. Motioning for amendment. So maybe we need to get Chairman White to withdraw his motion first.
Well, no, thank you for bringing that up. You're right. We need to vote on the conference report before we amend it. So
wait a minute, Mr. Chairman. Let me, if you don't mind. Okay. If we vote on the conference report, it's going to be either voted up or down as it is without your amendments.
That's correct.
And so we maybe need to get your amendments done first.
No, sir.
No? Oh?
No, so just like a bill, we have to get the main motion on the floor before we can amend it. All right. We've got the motion. We have not voted on it, so we don't need. Okay. All right. So then we're in proper order. We're in proper order where we are now. The main motion has been made. Now we can amend it.
Well, I do have a question. Right. I'm sorry. And I just want to make sure I'm on the same page with you. Are we going to vote on amendments that we don't see? Or tell me what we're doing, because I would like to see the amendments before we vote on. I might vote with you.
What we're doing, I'm calling an amendment. It's really more of a change to the conference report. We're adding this to the conference report. That's what we're doing.
But these are not technical changes. These are substantial changes. Am I correct, Leo?
I don't think they're substantial, but bid up the committee. You can vote no if you think it's substantial. Okay. All right. We're going to vote on the amendment, and I'll go over it one more time. It does three things: specifies the oversight board can contract for the assessment and the turnaround plan, that the oversight board can create policies and timeline requirements for the submission of contracts from the local board, the elected board, to the board of managers, and then third, that we include language on the appointment of a chair for the oversight board. That's the amendment's been properly moved and seconded. I'm going to call the vote first of the Senate members. Senators, all those in favor of that amendment to the conference report indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Opinion of the chair. The Senate adopts that. Representative White.
Am I in order? Can I ask a question? If we, once we vote on this, Does this close it out? Or we have any other
No,
amendments?
we have other
okay.
amendments.
Okay.
All right, on House members, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Opinion of the chair, the House ayes have it. So that amendment is agreed to. Representative White.
Thank you, members. And as I mentioned before, I really want to praise legal. They have brought together a beautiful Conference Committee report for us. There's one other thing I would like to bring to the Conference Committee's attention for you to consider. It was brought to my attention, okay, look on item number 2, page number 2, where it says an oversight at the bottom. An oversight board consists of the following 9 members, 5 by the governor, 2 by the Speaker of the House, 2 by the Senate. I would like to make a motion that on the part where it says 2 members appointed by the Speaker of the House, we have for the past year been looking at highly qualified people to be on this board. And what the motion I want to make for an amendment would to allow the Speaker of the House to appoint 1 member of his 2 that may be outside the county of the LEA in question should the Speaker think that we are missing a specific need that the board needs, and to reserve that option for that 1 member on the board that will be appointed by the Speaker of the House. Is that clear? Did I make myself clear on that?
Yes. I believe so, and I will second that motion. So the motion on the floor now is that one of the appointments of the Speaker of the House would be, could be someone from outside the county of the LEA. Senator Powers?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Representative White, I just want to make sure that this one person would have to reside in the state of Tennessee.
That is correct. It would just be outside the LEA in question. And it's brought to our attention, we want the best qualified. And if we see a deficiency of an area, not of the members being appointed, but a deficiency in an area that we really want to address, we're putting highly qualified people in facilities and accounting and maintenance and academics. And in case there is a deficiency, to allow that 1 member to be appointed by the Speaker that we may see that would fulfill that deficiency.
I think that would be noteworthy and a great idea, honestly, but I just wanted to make sure that they were from the state of Tennessee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
All right. Thank you, Senator Powers. Senator Akbari.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I strongly speak in opposition. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh,
and I speak, one day maybe, I don't know.
No.
I speak in strong opposition to this amendment. I think that it is highly inappropriate to have someone outside of the LEA for any, if this, as this legislation has been positioned as something that should apply to all LEAs. And so to have this one particular board member could be appointed from outside of that LEA, to me, it seems like it's being written for a specific person. And if this newly constituted board believes that they need an additional expert, surely they can hire said individual as they have been given the power to contract and hire. If you are really talking about something that is representative of the people that they are serving, just like the elected board, it is my opinion that they should only come from that LEA. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Akbari. Representative Spicki.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And I agree with my colleague, Senator Powers, about must be a resident of the state of Tennessee. But I want to clarify, because there were 2 things said there. Is this outside the county or outside the LEA? Because those are 2 different things.
Representative White.
They may reside outside the county of the LEA in question.
All right, thank you. All right, seeing no further debate on that, we'll move to a vote on this amendment. I will begin this time with the House. House members indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
No.
Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, despite that robust no. We'll vote now in the Senate. Senators, all those in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. No. And a very robust no from Senator Akbari. Any other questions?
I do have a question.
I was afraid so. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm enjoying this opportunity to sit next to you, Mr. Chairman. What is needed to propose an amendment to the conference committee? I just want to make sure I'm within the rules.
Sure. You can make the motion.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thought you'd never ask. I would like to make a motion that we create a structure for Memphis and Shelby County schools like that has been done in Hamilton County schools in regards to having an advisory board that assists Hamilton County schools in the writing of their ship. And but we tailor this version of it specifically to Memphis and Shelby County schools and give Memphis and Shelby County schools the same latitude that we gave Hamilton County schools when we put an advisory board and community advisors together for them.
All right. There's been a motion and a second. Any questions on that? Representative White.
Thank you, and I would like to speak in opposition to that amendment. We have worked on this diligently for 2 years, and you can. One thing I've learned: you never say may when you should say shall. We had a bill committee the other day where, for 13 years, there's been a certain. Well, I won't get into specifics on that. We've already passed the bill, but there was a may, and so we continue to let these systems operate because we don't ever do anything about it. So I think we're at the point in time we need to move forward with the language before us, and so I would vote no on that amendment suggestion.
All right. Any other questions on the amendment? We'll begin vote this time on the Senate side. All those senators in favor of the amendment indicate by saying aye. Opposed? No. Opinion of the chair, the noes have it. That item fails in the Senate. We'll go ahead and vote just for the House as well. House members indicate, if you support the amendment, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
No.
Opinion of the chair, the noes have it. That item fails. We're back on the main motion as amended. I'm sorry. Senator Akbari.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and certainly I'm going to get in the amendment game as well, but mine will be very specific. Mr. Chair, I move that we amend the legislation before us so that there is an exit plan for school system if they meet the criteria that has been established within the legislation, that there will not be a blanket 4+2 extension, but instead will if they meet the criteria that is defined within this legislation, they will be able to exit oversight.
All right, there's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion on the amendment? Representative Sapiki.
Yes, Senator Akbari, can you expand on that at all? I mean, what are your thoughts? What are your intentions with that?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And certainly, Chairman Sapiki, my intentions are that if the district is doing, if the board, the appointed board is doing what we're asking them to do, the district is in a good place, then it should not continue to have those additional resources. Instead, it should go back to an elected board, right? Because, mission accomplished, basically. Like, I want to actually make it based on if these metrics are met, as opposed to saying, we'll do 4 years and, that's it. So that's why. I just feel like if the metrics are met for the reason for oversight to make such a drastic move, then if those metrics are met, there should no longer be oversight. It should be a transition to the elected school board.
All right, thank you. Representative White.
Thank you. I do believe that the language in the bill is pretty specific that if the 4 years, they can move right off of it if they meet all the guidelines in this thing. So I think that we already have specific language in this bill, 4 years.
Senator Akbari.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and certainly thank you, Chairman White. No, I'm saying if they meet the criteria in 3 years, then they would be able to exit oversight. I understand that as the legislation is written, it's 4 years. If the criteria is not met, that initial appointed advisory board will be dismantled. A new board will be put in place for an additional 2 years to see if those metrics are being met. What I'm suggesting is that we have a pathway for an early exit if the oversight metrics are met, so that we don't continue to have that heavy hand over the school system. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Seeing no other comments on the amendment, we'll begin with the House. All House members in favor of Senator Akbari's amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Opinion of the chair, the noes have it. In the Senate, senators in favor of Senator Akbari's amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Opinion of the chair, the noes have it. That amendment fails. We're back on the conference report as amended. Any other questions?
I do have one more amendment.
One more amendment from Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And this is my last amendment. This amendment is being offered in order to help the state and Memphis and Shelby County schools not take money out of education because they have to fight litigation. What this amendment proposes is that we remove the criterias number 5 and 6 that specifically target Memphis and Shelby County schools only, and that we change the threshold to 3 out of 4 of the remaining criteria. That would make it truly statewide application, help us to avoid any litigation and any delays because we are tied up in the courts. And with that, Mr. Chair, I move adoption.
Second.
Thank you. I am absolutely thrilled that you're concerned about the implementation of this. So
I am.
There is a motion and a second. Any questions on the amendment? Representative White.
I would just like to speak in opposition. I think we got a good, clean conference committee report, and I'm going to vote no.
All right, thank you. Seeing no others, we'll begin with the Senate this time. Senators that are in favor of Representative Parkinson's amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Opinion of the chair, the noes have it. In the House, all of those in favor of Representative Parkinson's amendment indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? No. Opinion of the chair, the noes have it. That amendment fails. We're back on the conference report as amended. Seeing no further comments, we will move to a roll call vote, beginning this time with the House of Representatives. Madam Clerk, if you'd call the roll.
Representative Sipicki. Sipicki votes aye. Representative Moody. Aye. Moody votes aye. Representative Parkinson.
No.
Parkinson votes no. Representative Slater. Aye. Slater votes aye. Representative White.
Aye.
White votes aye. Mr. Chair, you have 4 ayes and 1 nay.
All right, the House members agree to the conference report. If we could, Madam Clerk of the Senate, if you would call the roll.
Senator Taylor.
Aye.
Senator Taylor votes aye. Senator White. Aye. Senator White votes aye. Senator Powers. Aye. Senator Powers votes aye. Senator Akbari.
No.
Senator Akbari votes no. Senator Lowe. Aye. Senator Lowe votes aye. You have 5 ayes and 1 no.
All right, the Senate agrees to the conference report. Seeing no further business before the conference committee, we stand adjourned.